guys, so now we're going to take our skill 6. I know they look funky. Let me move all this. What happened? Okay, now we're at skill 6. So, does not want to agree with me. Okay, skill 6. So we're going to do skill 6 today. Is EE2 rewriting expressions. So before we even get started, let's think about what that word expressions is. What do you have to have? Goodness gracious. What's in an expression? A variable. What's usually not in an expression? Yeah, there's usually no equal sign. What are those called? Equations. Good. All right. So since I'm not there, I'm going to get you started on every problem, and then you're going to finish it, or you're going to start on your own, and then we'll go through it together. So make sure you are responding. Mr. Reed's going to walk around and take note of who is taking notes and who's not, so I can give you full credit in your folders tomorrow. All right, so let's start with the first one. Which expression is not equivalent to the other 3? You know this happens a lot on your state test where they give you like 5, 6, 7 options. You're trying to figure out which ones aren't equivalent, which ultimately means you have to figure out most of them, if not all of them. So even though this is only one problem, it's technically 4 different problems. So they do this because they assume that you could do this so quickly that it shouldn't take you as much time as it does for 4 problems. It should only take you as long to do maybe 2. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's not supposed to take you a really long time. It's just practicing the same thing over and over and over. All right, so let's start here. What does it mean when a number is on the outside of the parentheses? What kind of math do we do? Good. We multiply. What property is that? To distribute. So we're going to distribute the 2 all the way across. Don't forget, all the way through. So let's do this quick. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2b is 4b. All right, so if I have 2 boys and I need twice as many, now I have 4 boys. Plus 2 times 3a, which is 6a. Good. So let's look at the next one. Distribute. Don't forget to distribute the second one. So we have 2 plus 4a plus 2a plus 4b. Now, do you notice anything that's going on here? Good, there's a lot of a's. What's that called? What do we have to do? Combining like terms. Yep, let's bring it all together. So 4a plus 2a is 6a. Can we combine anything else? No. All right. Go ahead and do the next 2 by yourself for like 1 minute. And I'll come back and show you. See if you got the right answers. Okay, so hopefully you come back. So the third one was kind of tricky. Because the third one, can you combine like terms? Can you distribute? You can't do any of those things, which means it is fine just the way it is. So now let's start looking at our question again. Which one is not equivalent? So let's look at our 3 answers right now. So this one has a 2, this one has a 2, this one has a 2. Okay. This one has a 6a. This one has a 6a. This one has a 6a. 4b, 4b, 4b. So right now the first 3 are equivalent to each other. So if it says which expression is not equivalent, what could we guess right now? Yeah, it's probably the 4th one, but because we have the time, let's make sure we're right. So let's distribute this. Hopefully you did this. 6a plus 2 plus 4b plus 1. So what can we combine together, take away? What can we do? The integers can be combined together. So we have 6a plus 4b plus 3. So which one of these is incorrect? The red, the blue, the purple, or the green? Yeah, the green is wrong. Why? What makes it wrong? What makes it incorrect or not equivalent to? Yeah, the integer. The integer is incorrect or is wrong. Not equivalent. Okay? If you had to use this space down here, that was totally fine. That's what it's there for. If not, you're going to need it for right here. All right. I want you to go ahead and read the next question. And I want you to try to work it out. The way I would do it is I would do maybe Abby here and Renato here. We're going to pause the tape for about 2 minutes. I want you to work with the person right next to you. Don't get out of your seats. Just sit right next to that person and chat it up and figure out how you can get at least one, if not both, Abby and Renato's expressions. Remember what we talked about expressions. Go. All right, back at it. So let's look at Abby. So it says, Abby takes the number of miles, which when we don't know something, what are we going to call that? A variable. We can just use M. Doubles it. We use our miles. Doubles. What does it mean to double something? Times 2. So let's use that coefficient. 2 doubles it. Then subtracts 20% of the result. So first of all, in an expression, can we use, so we subtracted, can we use 20%? Can we use a percent sign in our expression? What do we have to use? Decimals. This is going to be 0.20 of the result. Well, what result are we talking about? What did we just do? Oh, we doubled the miles. So all we're doing here is we're going to do 20% of the result. All right. So that's Abby's. Now let's look at Renato's. So Renato says, first you're going to number of miles by 5. So miles by 5. Then you're going to multiply the results. Remember, this is the results. This was the results up here. These are the results here. We're going to multiply our results by 8. Okay, so that's A. Now it says use your answers from here to decide if these are the same. Well, do they look the same? They don't. They really don't. Depending on how you reduce them, they might start looking a little bit more similar. So the only way to figure this out is to substitute. What substitute mean? To replace the variable. So let's say we are traveling 5 miles. We'll keep it simple. So 5 miles. So let's plug this in for Abby. So Abby's going to say for 2 times 5 minus 20 hundredths times 2 times 5. Okay. So let's solve that really quickly. It's 2 times 5, 10, minus, well, we know that this is also 10, so we can just put 10 here. If you did that already, that's fine. So now we're trying to figure out what is 20% of 10. Remember that rule with the zeros. You move the decimal place over once, and then multiply by 2. So what is 20% of 10? 2. What is 10 minus 2? 8. Okay, so that's Abby's. So let's see if we do the same substitution for Renato, what we're going to get. So first we're going to do 5, excuse me, did not write a 5. 5 miles, because remember we use that for substitution. What you want to do is divide it by 5, then multiply it by 8. Well, what is 5 divided by 5? 1. 8 times 1, 8. So ultimately, did we get the same answers? Yes, we did. So tomorrow, I'm going to bring this up to you, and I want you to look at this and be able to tell me, why are these two expressions, why do they get us to the same result? Why do they get us to the same result? Some of you might already know. Some of you might have it on your page. Good. All right, so let's move on down. And I want you to read about the Bearded Man Outfitter store. Yes, you heard me right. You're going to read this, and I want you to try to do the first problem by yourself. We're going to actually extend our box here a little bit. I want you to tell me how much we're going to save today, and then how much the new cost is going to be. All right, go ahead and pause it. I want you to do this with the person near you again if you were good the first time, and try to do that first one. We'll give you about 2 to 3 minutes to get started. All right, so Gary is going to this monster store where it's 40% off. Yeah, pretty good deal. I would go shopping too. So first of all, what does 40% off mean? If we have any kind of price, what's going to happen at the end? Yeah, this should be less than the original. Okay, so keep that in mind. Make sure you're always going back and checking, because if not, you might move the decimal or something. All right, so what is the expression we want to use? The original. Are we plus or minusing? I know I just said minus. Are we adding or subtracting? Minus, good, subtract. So the original minus the percent. But are we going to write our percent into our expression? No. So once again, we have to move our decimal place over. 40% of the original. So let's go ahead and do the boots over here. So let's plug in. So we're going to use the same expression for all 5 of these. You just need to change the original. Okay, so let's start with the basics. We got boots, $89.95 minus 40% of the boots. So remember, we talked about a few different tricks. You can always move the decimal place over 1 time and then multiply that by 4. You can do that. So if I do my math right, we're going to do 8.99, so $8.99 times 4, which should get us to just underneath $36. So we have $35.96, excuse me. Okay. But we have to bring it back to our expression. So now we have $89.95, the original cost, minus $35.96. Well, what is that $95 or $35.96? What does this represent? That's how much we saved. So see how I added this saved box here? So I want you to add that in every step so you don't forget. That's how much we're saving, not how much we're spending. So to figure this out, now we just have to do the math. So we have $89.95 minus $35.96. Now these boots for Gary are only going to cost him $53.99. Great. So you are going to do this by yourself. Yes, you heard me, by yourself, for the rest of these 4. You can use this space up here. You can use the space right here. But at the end, I need you to answer one final question for me. So your question is, Go ahead and write it at the bottom right now so you don't forget. If Gary had $98, what should he buy? How much would that cost him? So if Gary had $98 to go to this store after all his deals, what would you think that he should buy to get the most out of his money? But how much would it end up costing him? So we're going to go over this question first thing tomorrow. Do not forget that question. All right, go. When you are done with your notes today, Mr. Reed will give you guys about 5 to 10 minutes to finish those notes, depending on how you're acting. And then on the board over by the door is your to-do list. So in about 5 or 10 minutes, Mr. Reed's going to pass you out your exit slip. So you have your notes right now. Then we're going to do your exit slip, don't forget. And then if you are in first block and second block, so second period and fourth period, you need to get the stations and complete those by yourself. Then you can do your homework. Make sure it's in your folder. I will not check your homework tomorrow if it's not in the prongs. And then if you do finish your homework, make sure you're showing your work. You may complete purple pages 29 and 31. So Mr. Reed can leave this up on the board now, or it's over on the board by the Go Cubs board. All right, have a good day. Be good.